stay tuned to the end of the video to see some short snippets of field blowouts and what caused the problem. So thanks for watching the third part in the series. We're going to start this off with grabbing the plate compactor that I rented for this job. I wanted to make sure that the material spread around the culvert was packed in pretty good. I didn't want it loose because you'll get what's called water piping in and around a culvert as water comes down the ditch and then hits the edges of the dirt that's around the culvert. It can actually pipe its way through. So I want to make sure everything is packed in there nice and good as we're going along. As you can see here, my hydraulic levers are unlatching, and man, like I say here on the video, have I ever mentioned how much I love these? Now, obviously, if I'm grabbing the grapple or front auger, I'm going to have to get out of the cab and hook up the hydraulics. But for everything else, this makes it so much faster to just unlatch a bucket, grab another bucket, grab my forks, the snow pusher, blades, you know, anything else that I have for the front that doesn't require hydraulics. But just makes it super quick and fast, so I don't even have to stop to get out. So here I'm just setting that bucket to the side. I'm going to grab the next bucket here that is in the way, and the reason I'm doing that is I'm going to get ready to move this electric pool here. That way I can get at these piles of gravel without having to keep attacking them from the other side, because they would just end up keep pushing towards the grass. So I want to be able to get at them from all angles. Alright, drop that bucket, and now let's go get the forks. You're going to see here after I grab the forks that I can then hydraulically latch the quick attach coupler latches right from inside the cab. Now what I do is I always tip it all the way back to make sure that the attachment is fully seated, and then a lot of times I'll even raise it up so everything is into the eye view from the cab, so I can make sure the bottom pins are engaged. So now we're going to go around. I'm going to grab my Alamo mop flail mower, just pick it up with the forks, get it out of the way of the electric pool, and just throw it around to the side on the containers. let's grab the truck snow blade and move it out of the way too. So as I stated, I really just want to get this electric pool out of the way. So I'm just going to roll it down into the yard and put it up against the old galvanized culvert that we had pulled out of the driveway, just so it's not in the way anymore. Let's spread these forks a little wider, that way it's not pivoting so much on those forks that are too close together. Spreading them out a little bit will give a little bit wider grip as I'm throwing the electric pool forward. Hydraulic levers again. unlatch the forks, drop the forks, then let's pick up a bucket. Now what I have picked up and am spreading here is number 2 crushed limestone. So far around the base of the culvert we have a lot of the fill material that had been dug out, so it's got bigger stuff and smalls and fines, and it's all been compacted. And now I'm going on top of that with number 2 limestone. I'm going to come in and we're going to fill that in with 3 or 4 crushed limestone and make a nice packed base. And then we'll eventually top it off with some more decorative gravel. Here we're going to stop spreading gravel for a minute and try to get some of the dirt and sod clods out of the yard that we had peeled back while widening the driveway on that side and making the corner more rounded. I want to get this out of the way, that way I can drive at the culvert in all directions instead of having these piles of dirt in the way. So we'll take some time and get this cleaned up out of the yard just so I have a nice clean area to work with. And kudos to my wife and son here, who are doing pretty much all of the manual labor while I am sitting in the comfort of the cab of my tractor. Now that we have the dirt picked up out of the side of the yard there, I'm going to fire up the compactor and run it back and forth over the culvert area a few times before we get moving on to the next step. Now, I'm sure some people are probably thinking, and may even comment and say that hey, number twos is not going to pack in there really good, and you're right. Large gravel does not pack together. You need to have all different types of sizes as well as fines mixed in. But what I'm just trying to do is to make everything vibrate the same way you would sit and shake anything to try to get stuff to settle and go to the lowest elevations possible. And that's all I'm trying to do here, is get all of this rock to just vibrate, shake, settle down into where it wants to be. It'll also probably push down into the bottom layer just a little bit, because this is only a skim coat. This is not a heavy coat. This is going right on top of the compacted base. So you just want to vibrate it all into place, compact it a little bit, shove it down into the material that's below it, and then we'll come back in on top of it again. are going to get ready to dig out the edge of the yard where the driveway is going to be widened. So I have multiple buckets for my tractor. The one I've been using is a smooth front edge. I'm going to drop that and pick up a bucket that has a tooth bar bolted to the front. That way it'll make it easier on a tractor for me to be able to dig. Now I measured from the other side of the driveway, which is pretty straight, and marked a couple lines, a couple spots to make sure the driveway stayed pretty parallel with the cutout. Strung a string down it, and then used spray paint and marked the area that I wanted to get cut out. So here I'm going to go at this yard section. I'm going to try to get just under the sod a little bit, and once I get under there, I'm going to level the bucket out and then just drive forward and then lift up and peel up and pop that sod out and go back and forth. Sometimes I'm going to do it from the yard side, sometimes it'll be attacking it from the driveway side. Now, a lot of people say that a compact tractor or utility tractor is not meant to dig. And sure, a tractor is never going to dig as well as a skid steer or a compact track loader. They have nice, strong, firmly mounted loaders. Tractor loaders that are meant to be taken off have slop in them, so they kind of rack a little bit when you put tension on them. But you can see here the tractor's actually doing a pretty darn good job. I have no problems just tucking the teeth down under, doing what I said I was going to do earlier, rolling the bucket back, leveling it out, getting it down underneath the sod, driving forward and peeling it out. there's an area we skipped over, and you can see a little white pipe right there about in the middle of the image. That is a dog fence that we installed years ago. When I first installed this, I cut across the driveway. I put that wire inside PVC pipe. So I wanted to find it, not dig into it. And then what I will do is I will actually cut the dog fence wire. I'm going to solder a new piece in, but I'm going to extend the PVC pipe further over since I'm going to be putting gravel in this extended area, and I obviously don't want that to get cut. But here we are, straightening up the edges, doing a few things by hand, cleaning it up, and then we'll get ready to bring in the textile fabric and the material. So here I am getting ready to grab some larger material that I'm going to put down on top of the geotextile fabric that you can see on the far side of the driveway. The majority of this material was dug out around the culvert as we were digging it up, because obviously we went low enough that we were going down to the real base of the driveway from when it was installed, when the house was built, and there's going to be a lot of larger stones, some riprap, things that I don't necessarily want up near the top of my driveway. I don't want to be catching those when I'm running my grader scraper or when I'm plowing snow and then grabbing one and dragging it down the driveway, creating a ditch. So I'm going to take all of this material that I don't care to be part of the upper section, and I'm going to use that as a base over on top of the textile fabric, and then I'll start building the driveway up from there. I have down there my friend Kevin, who was gracious enough to come help, is down there raking, spreading out some of this larger material, because I'm just dumping it just little bits at a time in areas, and then he's raking it out, getting it level, so we can then come on top. probably see in some of these shots that there's some pretty good size rocks in here. They're definitely much larger than fist size. Some of them are probably the size of, maybe not quite the size of footballs yet, but they're pretty big size. They're definitely larger than 2s. You're going to be looking at maybe, like I said, riprap size, but pieces larger than you want near the top of the driveway. I'm driving over this area just back and forth a little bit, trying to get it packed down, but also dragging in some of the other junk that I don't want in the driveway, dragging it over there, running up and down this, also putting the grader scraper across it, leveling it out, getting it close to the level of the driveway. and then spreading out the rest of the fines. The big pile I had kind of there in the middle that was dug up while we were digging, that doesn't contain, at least not very many larger stones, but will contain some nice gravel and some things that will pack in well. So what I'm grabbing here is 411 crushed limestone. Now this is going to be limestone that is about 3/4 of an inch all the way down to fines. So it contains aggregate of all different sizes. That way it packs in really well. It packs in almost as hard as concrete. So I'm going to put some of this on top of the culvert area, spread it out, and we will run the compactor across that and get everything locked in really nice and tight and build up a good base. That way we don't have anything moving anywhere around that culvert. Yeah, put some number 2s over here in the little corner that I cut out. Everybody say hi to Timber. Timber is just a few months old there, an Alaskan Malamute. He likes to be out and be part of the action. And as I'm putting down this 411, Kevin and my wife are down there raking it right now, and what we're doing is we're crowning this culvert just like you would crown a driveway or a road. The center section is higher, and then over near the ends it is a lower elevation with even a little bit of a belly, because I want the water not to rest in the middle of the end of the driveway down there. I want it to be able to run off. Now the 411 is going to get the plate compactor treatment, get it packed down. And you can even tell where the plate compactor is hitting it, because it is packing it to where it doesn't look all, nice and loose anymore. It is packing it perfectly flat and making it hard. So we'll keep doing that, bring a little bit more, put it where we need to, rake it out, and then compact it some more. Look how pretty that is as it's getting compacted. And then hopefully there you can kind of see how in the middle it's higher and then slopes to both sides. That 411 is packing in beautifully. So we finished spreading all the material, got everything leveled out the way we want, and I ordered a load of 57 limestone. So I have the truck driver set up here, fairly close to the edge of the yard, and in retrospect, maybe a little bit too close, because you're going to see here in a minute some of this is going to bounce over into the yard, and I had to pick it out. Wasn't a big deal, but I needed this side built up first, so we're going to run the first run up the new area here where we widened it right up against the yard and put down a nice base. Now originally, I figured the very next run we'd be putting on the other half of the driveway. Turns out the gravel was going a little further than what we thought, so we decided to go ahead and move back over, put another load in the same area. And having this second trip of 57 limestone over top is giving us a nice and pretty good solid base of limestone over top of our new area. Now for the third area, he obviously has moved over to the other side of the driveway, but we are overlapping the new area still a little bit because having that overlap in the middle is going to give us our crown, which I will still touch up later because there's going to be some high spots of gravel, but this is going to do the majority of the work for us by having this overlap and giving us a higher area in the center that'll force the water down and away. And then I was pleasantly surprised that even after those 3 trips, those 3 skim coats, that we still actually had a good little bit, which is going to allow me to do another area. So he is turned around and just backing up and going to dump it in a pile, from which I will then move and spread with the tractor, because the area he would have to go over to would not be level, and he would be on sitting on the side of an incline, which is not what you want to do with a dump truck. So I'm just having him dump it right there, and then I'll take care of spreading it myself. So this is the finished area with the new limestone, and I still got a little bit of work. It, obviously still needs smoothed out just a little bit because where it was thick, we got some, some ruts. So I'm going to pack that in with the tractor a little bit and then get it smoothed out and then finish the yard and seed that area there. And this is just a different view from the culvert swinging around. And then a view from the other side of the culvert. So this area here is the tile that the utility company broke. That green pipe there is a 6-inch pipe, but there used to be clay tile there. That orange piece is fiber optic, and that is what they were driving when they shattered the end of my field tile, causing it to plug up and then back up all the way up through the field and then cause the blowouts into the different branches. So this is what one of the blowouts look like. Doesn't look like much, but it's actually a hole, and the area around it has been eroded away. So it blew out first, and then after it blew out, then it continued to erode and suck dirt down with it. This is a line of 3 blowouts in a row that you can look down, and is one long branch. Blew out in 3 places. So that's it. Do me a favor, subscribe, hit the bell to be notified of upcoming videos, and then hit the thumbs up. Let me know that you liked the video, and drop me a line. Leave me a comment, and I will promise to reply, and then we can chat back and forth. But thanks, and have a good rest of your day.